All right.
It's a new voice.
Gosh, all right. So I need glasses off to see up there, glasses on to see here. This is going to be rough.
Oh, yeah. Just mostly look up. I think it's better.
Yeah.
Keep your finger on the arrow button.
There you go. All right. Yeah. Look this way. All right. Oh, okay. Let's get rid of that too. All right. Welcome to the Solidarity Lowell June General Meeting. Our featured speaker today is Jessica Wisocky from Pathway to Better Health. And reminder, this meeting is being recorded. So,
hello.
Welcome. You're just getting started.
Okay. Just put a little semicircle chairs here.
Maybe others will join. We're being optimistic.
Did I miss Gracie today? Miss the Whiteman School Book. I do not have one.
No, I haven't set it up yet because I got very sick for a few weeks.
Oh yeah, that's bad news.
Yeah.
I've been a lot sick. Yeah.
But I'll send it out. An email
Okay.
about it soon. I've been meeting
I was hoping it would.
You didn't miss it.
Okay. So let's start by going over our guidelines. This meeting is going to be recorded and put on YouTube. And by staying in the meeting, you consent to both. If you want to speak, please either physically raise your hand or otherwise get my attention if you're in person, or use the raise hand button in Zoom. Or worst comes to worst, you can always just type a star in the chat and wait to be called on. The stacker tonight will be Marissa DuPont, so she will pay attention to who raises their hand and when. Captions are available if you need them. We like to run our meetings with a step up, step back policy, so we want to hear from everyone. So please, the designated times, raise your hand. We want to hear your comments. If you feel like you're saying a lot and you see that there's other people that aren't really speaking, why don't you just please take a step back and give them space to talk. Assume positive intentions of all participants. And if your words do cause hurt, please be accountable for them, or an ouch, oops policy. And please speak slowly, which I'm not sure I was. So good reminder to everyone.
You're doing better than I usually do.
Thank you. Okay, so agenda 5:30-ish is our welcome and our intros. And then at 5:40, we'll do our Solidarity Lowell news and committee updates. At 5:50, we'll do our allied organization updates, and that is where if you're here to promote another group or event that you're in, so we'll do it there. And 6 p.m. will be our featured speaker. Like I said tonight, that's Jessica Wisocky from Pathway to a Better Health. And then at 6:55, we'll do a quick wrap-up. Okay, so starting with a quick land acknowledgement. Here in Lowell, we stand on the land of the following local nations: the Wabanaki or Dawnland Confederacy, Pentucket, Pawtucket, Agawam, Pennacook, Wamasett. And that information came from native-land.ca. And if you follow that link there, that bit.ly link, that is our complete land acknowledgement statement there. So really quick, what is Solidarity Lowell? Solidarity Lowell is a volunteer group of community members defending human rights, dignity, and justice in Greater Lowell. We're a chapter of Progressive Mass, and we're also a Merrimack Valley Project affiliate. The Solidarity Lowell Coordinating Committee is your elected team running the meetings, organizing events, disseminating relevant news, and sharing calls to action. We just recently held our SLCC elections in April, but do please reach out and contact any of us, or contact at solidaritylowell.com if you might still be interested, and we can get together and talk about it. And so does anybody have any questions about just the basics of SL and what we're here for?
Progressive Mass or MVP.
Should I answer that? No?
I'm seeing no hands.
Okay, all right. Okay, so let's get to know everyone. So let's do your name, your pronouns, where you live, and our icebreaker tonight is: you can have an unlimited supply of one physical thing for the rest of your life. What is it? And nobody be boring and say money. So
You're not allowed. Don't say money.
no, don't say money.
Something else.
Yes. So I will start. My name is Amy Baranowski. My pronouns are she, her. I live in the Acre neighborhood of Lowell. And even though I have been thinking about this all day, if I want to be very humanitarian, I was thinking of something like housing, right? But you know, if I want to just be fun and selfish about it, I would say cheese.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I think we'll go around here first,
Sure.
and then we'll put people online. So.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Marissa DuPont, she, her, hers. I live in South Lowell, and honestly, I have realized that chocolate is the one thing that I need to have an unlimited supply of. I am very dependent on that, more so than even cheese.
There you go.
I'm Bernadette, she, her. And where I live is in New York here. And where is it driving? I think climate control.
Yeah.
Ellie Richardson, I live in Drake. Pronouns are she, her, hers. How many it's applied? Gee, that's a tough one. That's a good crusted bread.
My name is Ryan Hammond. My pronouns are he, him. I also live in the acre. And if I could have an unlimited supply of anything, it'd be public transit because I like trains.
Oh.
Hi, everyone. I'm Paul Godet. Pronouns are he, him. I live in the Highlands in Lowell. And I was thinking about the news story about Gilroy Maxwell, whatever. I want an unlimited supply of toilet tissue.
There you go. It's a good one. Yep. Especially after the pandemic.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
Do you want me to do online?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
That's fine. Chris, you're next.
Hi, Chris Ackerman, she, her, hers, live downtown. Unlimited supply of one physical thing. Oh, there's so many and so few. German breakfast rolls.
Perfect. Jess.
I'm Jess Wisocky, she, her. I live in Lowell, and I think an unlimited supply of ice cream would keep me going for life.
John Conley.
Hello, everybody. I'm from Lowell. I don't really use pronouns, but if you want he, him, unlimited supply, if I had a choice, it'd be everything.
Everything?
Nothing left out. Noah took one of everything. I'm going to take one of everything.
All right, just one of
That
them.
is a loophole I didn't consider.
Yeah, I didn't consider that one either. Ozo.
Hi, thanks, Marissa, and thanks, everybody. I'm Ozo. My pronouns he, him, his. I live at the Lowell Transitional Living Center. If I could have an unlimited supply of one, it's sort of physical. It causes physical reactions and whatnot, is justice. You know, and injustice also causes physical reactions. So if there's one thing I could have, it's justice, because it would make everybody's life much more easier, and we wouldn't have to fight all these fights and things, you know, life would just go well. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Daniel O'Connor.
Daniel O'Connor. I'm from Drake, Mass, and actually right up the street from where you guys are meeting today. And I think one thing would be coffee.
That's everybody on.
Ooh, yeah, that would be rough without coffee. Okay. All right. That's everybody you said?
That's everyone.
All right. Very good. Thank you. All right. Moving ahead. So we like to start with some victories. So here's just a few. The Massachusetts State House voted 153-3 for a bill to protect school and public libraries and to rein in politically motivated book bans. The Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court disqualified the income tax cut question that would have been on the ballot this year. Yep. And on the other hand, the election day voter registration officially has enough signatures to be on the ballot this year. And that is one of the ones that we were collecting signatures for. So yes, we had a little piece of that. And like Ryan mentioned earlier, a trio of progressive Mamdani-backed candidates swept the NYC Democratic primaries. Yeah, everybody's talking about that. A federal judge in Virginia extended an order blocking the Trump administration's nearly $1.8 billion slush fund. And relevant to Lowell, what we're going through here, Tennessee joined, I think it was several states, requiring that data center owners pay the full amount for the electricity and the infrastructure costs that they're using. Okay, so that's just a few that we found. So who else has any victories that they'd like to share?
Anyone yet?
No?
You did pretty well with that list. Pretty well.
Yeah.
Well, on the ballot questions, the proponents are saying they're not giving up
Yes.
after the
For red controls.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't know how to
what the
put that.
next stage would be,
Right.
but
Yeah.
it was encouraging to
Yeah.
speak up.
Yeah, I debated putting that in victories, and I was like, I didn't know how to word it because it could be better.
I wouldn't.
But
Yeah.
it's not
You
gotten.
made the right call, but they're still going to fight for it, and that is a good thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And okay, I need to put it over to Marissa to talk about this event that we're having this week.
Okay, so on Wednesday, we're having a talk by Dr. Robert Forant, also known as Dr. Forant, also known as Bob, who, if you have met him, you love him. If you have not met him, you should. He's amazing. He's a former historian. Oh, he is currently a historian. He's a former professor at UML. He's now part-time since he's semi-retired. And that's going to be Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Pollard Memorial Library Community Room. That's the one like in the basement. So if you go in through the side door across from the parking lot, that's right there. And he's going to be talking about the immigration history of Lowell, which is, it's all really interesting. If you've done his walk downtown, he does like an immigration walk where he talks about different buildings that were related to the immigration history. And I think he's been doing additional research for this. He keeps posting on Facebook different new things that he's learning about it. So it's not just going to be stuff that you know already. It'll be new stuff as well. And he's just always amazing to listen to. And this is co-hosted by Solidarity Lowell, Indivisible Lowell, Merrimack Valley Project, Indivisible Chelmsford Connected, and the Peacemakers Network. And we just decided as of Friday, we made it official that Julio Mejia, the executive director of Merrimack Valley Project, is going to be our MC. So we're very excited about that. He's been, if you don't know Julio, he has been the executive director of Merrimack Valley Project for the past 3 years, the past 2 officially, and then prior to that, he was the interim.
He was lead organizer.
Yeah. So
changed his title.
Yeah, exactly. So, and he is amazing. So if you've never met him, he's also amazing. You should definitely meet him as well. So yeah, the only thing we need help on right now with this talk is we need folks to help with check-in. All you'd have to do is walk around with a clipboard and just ask people to sign in or sign up for our mailing list, basically. So if anyone is available to do that, so if you want to raise your hand now, that would be great. Or talk to me after the meeting, looking for hands, not seeing any. Oh, we got a new person.
I live 3 blocks from there. Put me down for a check.
Oh, fabulous. Thank you so much, Bernadette.
Yes, thank you, Bernadette.
Like 3 blocks.
Fabulous. Yeah, it's a good
So
spot.
I'll arrive early.
Yeah, if you just get there,
Sure.
you know, like 5:30, that'll be
Okay.
awesome. Okay, and then I'm trying to advance the slide. I realized I can't.
Let me add about Robert Forant.
Oh,
He
great.
contracted with the Lowell Sun to
Yes.
produce a series of articles for
Yes.
Right.
what is it, the quincentennial or
Yes.
something?
Yeah.
250 is like half 500.
Yeah, I think
But-
he's done 3 or 4 so
One
far.
on abolition in Lowell.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
churches
Oh.
Lowell.
Yeah.
I've been trying to post them in the newsletter when it's not super long, but unfortunately the past few weeks it's been no, I mean like when the newsletter is long. But
okay.
yeah. But so now that the budget stuff is done, I'll get those back into the newsletter so people can at least get the
And he
links.
takes up these great photos.
He's-
yeah.
Because he's really good with all the research stuff.
No, it's really amazing. And like Marissa, I have seen the little bits, the little teaser bits he's been posting on Facebook go by. And so it should be a really good talk.
Yeah.
So yeah, please
We're really
Please come
honored.
out. yeah, it should be a really, really great talk. And Julio's amazing. So
Yes.
he'll be a great MC. So
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
definitely try and make it. Okay. So yeah. Oh, right. So we have a busy week and
Yeah, so
Back to
also
Marissa.
from Merrimack Valley Project, Rabbi Aaron has been working really hard on this coming event. Know Your Rights, Build People Power. our tenant rights campaign kickoff for Merrimack Valley Project. That's going to be Thursday, July 2nd, 6 to 8 p.m. at the Lowell Masonic Center, right downtown, 79 Dutton Street. And this will be where we officially launch the tenants rights campaign. If any of you went to the assembly that we held here last month, I think, we talked about what we were going to be focusing on, and tenants rights were really one of the things that we agreed that were one of the most important things. And the housing MVP housing group has been working on this as a focus for a while now, collecting postcards saying that people would support an ordinance. So we're hoping to present that ordinance, if possible, on Thursday. And then we'll be talking about what we'll be doing going forward and our next steps that we'll be taking. And there will be food. Rumor has it, it may be Sizzling Kitchen, but I am not 100% certain yet. Fingers crossed.
Some alternative
Nice.
to pizza.
Yeah, we have had
The,
pizza the last
yeah.
like 5
Yeah.
events, so I'm like, no, we're gonna do something.
The planning committee has been meeting weekly
Yes.
leading up to this
Yeah.
because they,
So it's more than just rent control, it's other rights.
Yeah, this is specifically going to be around rent control. There is going to be another People's Agenda event. Will be coming up around July 19th. We might move it because that's the World Cup finals.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that will be about a whole bunch of them.
that'll be valley-wide.
Yeah,
This one is just a Lowell ordinance.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
So
and the-
hopefully that's in my email.
yes, it is.
That's in the
It's in the
email.
newsletter. Yeah, it's in the
Okay.
newsletter. Yeah, and yeah, so basically what the ordinance is going to say is that when someone signs a lease or gets evicted, they need to be notified of their rights. It's
Yeah.
fairly basic, but it's something that really needs to be in place and is
Right.
not right now. Right. So yeah, we're still, like I said, we're working out the exact wording, but hopefully we'll have that for Thursday, and then we can talk about that and what we'll be doing in the future for rental rights and affordable housing.
This is all gonna lead up, hopefully, we don't wanna, present this to the city council in the summer months.
Oh, right.
But
Yeah.
when fall comes, we hope to have collected a massive amount of support postcards and commitments from enough people who will fill the gallery or the chamber
Yeah.
of City Hall.
We have almost 200 cards returned. So
And also line up counselors who will speak in favor
yes.
of it
Good.
before.
Yeah, counselors and also other, state
Community
reps.
members,
Yeah.
yeah. So the idea is not to go in and have a nice showing and then have it flop. So
Right.
we want
To have it planned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
planned in, have press ready, everything.
Yeah.
Go.
Oh, so you have a
Okay,
question?
yes.
Yeah, just real quick. So as far as what do you call it? Getting a petition together, was there any discussion around doing that as opposed to the cards, or did the cards just make it easier, or?
The cards are basically just sort of leading up to the what's going to happen at the city council meeting requesting that ordinance. So it's just a commitment that you're going to vote in favor of that and that you're going to support it in the future and that you're going to follow the campaign. Does that make sense?
It's for Lowell residents. You don't have to be a tenant. It's anybody who lives in Lowell, because that's all the council's interested in.
Yeah.
Right.
Lowell
Right.
residents.
Yeah.
But
You know
showing
what?
support for the concept of making tenants' rights more visible in a orderly way and require that its presentation to new renters or people faced with eviction.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that, but like
Those
to actually put that in, wouldn't we have to get like a petition together anyways? Wouldn't it be kind of duplicating efforts if we get the cards first and then, try to form an ordinance through city council? Like, isn't it more streamlined to do a petition? Like I'm involved in the process, so I'm aware of a little bit of.
We got a lot of other community ordinances like Somerville and Cambridge and other.
I
places.
think Rabbi Aaron has done this kind of stuff before, and so he has like reasons for why he's doing it in this order. And he's amazing, so I trust him.
Yeah, and I guess the formal ordinance will be presented by councilors
Yes.
who support.
Yes.
So it'll be less easy for the other councils to shout and tackle.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Does that answer your question, Azo? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Okay, very good. So Lowell Together, that's the political endorsement wing of Solidarity Lowell, but also joining together with other people in the community and other groups in the community. So just some updates on what's going on over there. We're continuing our anti-flock camera campaign. We're meeting with counselors and trying to talk to them about it. We have some potential very beneficial good partnerships in process that are hopefully coming to fruition soon with the working family parties and with Platform in Action. The big thing we need to bring up tonight is that, so we've settled our endorsed candidates. We have all of them. You can see them listed there: Lorraine Betts, Doreen Iyer, current Rep Tara Hong, Connor Murray, and Senator Vanna Howard. They're all officially endorsed now. They all need volunteers. Door knocking, canvassing, boots on the ground. It's a difficult ask, but it's desperately needed, and it's what works best in these elections. So they all really need it. So, sorry, I'm catching John out of the corner of my eye there. Don't know which he means to sign up for. Hopefully he means sign up for canvassing.
Yeah, John, the best way to do that is just to go to their individual websites
awesome.
and just click the links to sign up to volunteer, and the campaign will get in touch with you. If you're not sure where the links are, I can send those to you after the meeting.
Yeah, I mean, you could always reach out to one of us, or just to contact at solidarityLowell.com, and we'll get you in touch with their campaigns. Normally, the candidates themselves or people from their campaigns would often be here, but I don't think there's anybody here tonight. But we know who they are, and we can definitely put you in touch. They're canvassing on the weekends for sure, usually in the evening times after work. So my email is PTSD. I gotta stop reading that. Okay.
Let me do that, Amy. That's my job.
It's distracting. Anyway, all right. So thank you, John. Thank you, anybody else that could reach out. It's desperately needed. There's also phone banking. And moving to the next item, we have some candidate events coming up this week. There's a talk with Tara. It's a very busy week. Tomorrow, Monday, 4 to 6 at Cafe Eclipse. So that is because he is a current rep. So that's not really a fundraiser so much of just a chance to sit down and talk with him. How are things going? Do you have any questions? What things would you like to see him cover going forward? Things like that. If you've never met him, he's a fantastic guy. He would love to talk to you. So please go down, check it out, meet him. And Cafe Eclipse is a great place. So get yourself coffee or another drink. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And then there's a fundraiser for Lorena on Tuesday from 5:30 to 7:30 at Athenian Corner at 207 Market Street downtown. Those are the only events that I knew of. If I was planning on saying if there's anybody else, if anybody knows of any endorsed candidates events, feel free to drop them in the chat. And you can always look in our newsletter when we know them, we put them in our weekly newsletter. And the next meeting of Lowell Together will be Monday, July 13th at 6 p.m. on Zoom. And we can send you that Zoom link if you just contact us, email contact@solidarity.lowell.com. And there we go. Okay. Now, Mill City Messaging. That is our postcarding social group. We do it in conjunction with Indivisible Lowell, just because it works well for all of us together, because we write postcards in support of local races and state races and also national races and progressive causes and things. And so that is always the second Thursday of the month. So the next one will be Thursday, July 9th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Lala Books at 189 Market Street. And we'll be continuing what we started last month with 4 different states worth of Activate America campaigns. That's reaching out to Democrats and likely Democratic voters and just encouraging them to vote. So lovely to see the old faithful there and some new people. Does anybody think they can attend? Paul, I do see your smiling face in that photo right there.
I will do my best to make it.
Up here. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Marissa. It's always it's a good time. It's a very I don't want to say, no, I don't mean low effort. What do I mean?
Chill.
Like it, yeah.
Easy lift.
Yeah.
It's right. It's a light lift. It's
fun.
good
You
to
can
get
just chat with
people
people
in.
while
You
you're
know, you
writing.
sit down, you have a drink, you talk with people while you're writing postcards. You can be creative. I always have different color markers and things, and so it's a low lift. It's a good time. So and Lala Books is great.
Yes.
Give you an excuse to come and maybe buy a new book too. Win-win.
Yep.
So hope to see you there.
When you go there.
You can, street parking, you have to pay until 8, so I often just park in the
Oh,
garage.
really?
because
Till
it's a-
8?
Yeah,
Wow.
less than,
Lowell recently and
Yeah.
kind of quietly,
Yeah.
quite frankly,
Cash
changed
grab.
that from
Yeah.
6 to 8.
What'd you say?
Cash grab.
it's a cash
Yeah.
grab, yeah. So, but
They
there's,
could let it go at 6 o'clock.
the garage
The
is just
garage
down the
is
street, so it's, I mean,
It's
it's the
creepy
same.
if I'm by myself, but.
It's a little creepy, but at least you know you'll have a spot, so if you can't
Yeah,
find one
right,
on the street,
right.
just go there, yeah.
Okay. So if anybody has any questions, or they feel like they want to attend, they want to just RSVP, you can contact me, Amy at Solidarity Lowell. So, okay, we're doing fine on time. So it is summer and tabling. Tabling is everywhere. So we had a couple of good events this month. Next month, we're looking at Folk Fest, the big one. So this is basically all day Saturday and Sunday we table.
Yeah.
And so it's a long day and we really need some volunteers to help us fill those shifts. So what getting the word out, obviously donations, if, people want for stickers and pins and things like that. The big thing the big ask we're going to be asking for people is we'll be collecting pledge cards again for the Yes for a Safe Massachusetts campaign. And so
Nutshell, what's that campaign?
so unfortunately, a ballot question that already got enough signatures that will be on the ballot would repeal our current gun control laws, which don't go far enough.
Yeah.
And this would repeal them and send us in the wrong direction. So Yes for a Safe Massachusetts is basically collecting pledge cards. And so what you're doing by signing it is just, pledging that, yes, you want to keep what we have. And that, yes, you will be voting, and yes, you will be voting yes for that ballot.
Yeah.
And yes.
No, you go.
Oh.
Yeah.
And what we're doing that is always a big hit is that if you fill out your pledge card, we have a little encouragement giveaway, and that is our emotional support dumpster fire that we give away. And you can see them there. And they do.
You're giving them out of pride.
So, yes. Yeah. And they do glow in the dark. And
They're
they have
amazing.
little faces. They're pretty cute. A little emotional support friend that you can keep with you in these trying times.
Indeed.
So, but in all seriousness, this is a big one because there's 2 full days.
Does SL have
so-
to pay for the table?
No, you just have to. show
No,
up.
we're just
There's
going to
like a
be in
free
the
speech
free
zone.
speech zone. Yeah. Yeah. So if somebody could, if you're going to be at Folk Fest anyway, like even if you could just take an hour out of your Folk Fest time, just come sit at the table.
Yeah.
So
We'd
somebody
like to
else can
have
take
2
a break.
people
Yeah.
At the table at all times.
Yeah. So I
It's
would.
from noon until we usually do until like 6, I think.
On Saturday?
That sounds right. Yeah. So I would love to see a whole lot of hands virtually and in person popping up right now.
Well, John has said that he will help us, and he just said to send the information. Looks like
I'll-
Brian had his hand up.
Yeah.
And I know Chris Offerman often does a shift.
Oh, she often does, but she may not be able to this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
why we
wasn't-
definitely need
No
people.
volunteer someone else. But yeah, I'll take a shift.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. And Ryan, thank you, but you are a little bit married into it. So
Yeah, you have to. They're required. Okay, yeah, so
Team Lowell, yes.
Brian, you
thank
got John and you and
I
Paul
wish I could.
down on the notes.
No, we know. No, Chris. No, it's fine. We understand.
Big pass this year, Chris. Thank you for your ask.
Yes.
Volunteer.
Yeah.
I want to double back on successes. CBA had its big gala this
Yes.
past
Oh,
week.
yeah.
6
Raised a
degrees.
lot of money, and the honoree was Kerry D'Entremont,
Oh, yeah.
and she is executive director of Greater Lowell Health Alliance.
Mhm.
She's been a community leader
Right.
for years and years. So
Yeah.
I'm very sure that she was the one.
Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah. Well deserved. Well deserved. Okay. All right. Well, think about it. And again, please, even just an hour, one of those days, contact at solidaritylowell.com. Say no more. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Okay. So, connect with other Lowell activists. So we have, Marissa started a Discord. I'd say we, the royal we.
No, it was all of us.
Lowell Activists Unite, it's called. It's a new online community space for Greater Lowell on Discord. So if you're not familiar with Discord, it's an online free text, voice, and video chatting, messaging application. It's similar to Slack, which you may have heard of. And so the idea behind this was there's all of these different activist groups in Lowell and in the Greater Lowell area, which is wonderful. But want to know what each other are doing, both because we probably want to be a part of it and go to it, but also so we don't step on each other's toes and counter program events and things like that. Mm-hmm. So we have channels for topics that are concerns, events, politics, pet photos, of course, because never trust a Discord server that does not have pet photo channel.
It's true.
And then we're adding channels as come in for various groups and organizations in the area or by request. And so you can sign up as an individual person or as the leader of your group and organization. Just trying to think about the top of my head. Obviously, the groups we've talked about already, Merrimack Valley Project, Indivisible Lowell has one, DSA, PSL, Llama, all the initials, basically.
Alphabet soup.
Yeah.
All the alphabet.
Yeah, but it's with any sort of chatting app, right? The more people that are on there discussing things, the more useful it's going to be, and it's really catching on. We're getting more people and a lot of good conversation on topics. And if something comes up at city council or whatever, even if it's last minute, people can jump in there and talk and discuss it. And so it's pretty simple to use. You could just click that link below, or again, contact at solidaritylowell.com if you have any questions. But if anybody has
send
any,
you the link that way too.
Yeah. But if anybody has any questions about it right now, I will pause. We'll see if any hands get raised.
Anyone? Questions? Questions about Discord? Questions about Lowell activists? Nope. No question.
Okay. Okay. Yes, we have merch. Yeah. Look at that.
Hold on.
Merch.
Let me
Yes, and Marissa can model.
Here.
Yeah, there we go.
There
Lovely.
it is. There it is.
Lovely.
See? Oh, that's cool.
Thanks.
Yeah.
We have them in many colors, different styles. We have the Pride logo. We have the regular logo. We have the Lowell Together logo. Right.
Yeah, and
Cool.
so if you go to bonfire.com/store/solidarity-Lowell, you can see all the different indeed. So what's nice is, we don't have to try and stock your favorite color and size and things like that. So you could just go there. You could order the color you want, the size you want, the style you want. If you want a hoodie, t-shirt, what cut of a t-shirt, etc. You could maybe even order it now, have it in time before Folk Fest, and then wear it to Folk Fest when you're at our table, helping us out at our table. Tie all that together. Okay, so quick recap. We're at 6:10 here. All right, very quick recap of upcoming events. I do believe, and I will go through them super quick, but everything here is what we talked about, except for I want to just quickly highlight the second one. The city of Lowell is having a public forum about the data center, which was 2 months ago. 2 months ago, speaker? Last
one. Yeah.
South Lowell.
Jake from Honest Future for Lowell spoke
about it, and
we just realized how terrifying it is.
It's a nightmare, and it's the sort of thing that you
It's drawing national attention. It's a nationwide.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. It's a problem on a national level, and we are also seeing it here in Lowell. And I think, unlike a lot of these other data centers, this is smack downtown. This isn't off to the side in some desolate area,
No.
but this is smack downtown
It's
where
great.
people live.
Yeah.
And
It's in South Lowell
It's-
behind Gorham Street, right near Family Dollar. Like it's right there.
yeah, and it's terrible. And I'm gonna go listen to the video from last month's on our YouTube channel if you want to hear the horror stories of these people that live in the area. So please go out. The more voices, saying, this is this is terrible. We don't like what's there. We definitely don't want to see them expand. So that is Monday. Again, very busy week.
Yeah.
That is tomorrow from 6 to 7 at the Butler School Auditorium. And then, so quickly going back up to the top, also on Monday, 4 to 6 is the talk with Tara at Cafe Eclipse. The fundraiser for Lorena is Tuesday, 5:30 to 7:30 at the Athenian. On Wednesday, we have our immigration history talk with Dr. Bob Forant at the library at 6 to 8 p.m. Thursday is the MVP Tenant Rights campaign kickoff, 6 to 8 at the Lowell Masonic Center. And then looking ahead a little bit, we have our annual summer potluck barbecue Saturday, July 11th from 3 to 7 p.m. at Marissa's residence. We'll come back to that again at the end of the meeting. And then a reminder, Folk Fest is Friday to Sunday, July 24th to the 26th. We don't table on Friday, just Saturday and Sunday. That's why I didn't mention it. So. Okay. And a quick reminder, we like to say every time, if you see ICE in your community, or if you have reason to think or suspect you're seeing ICE in your community or any sort of unidentified suspicious activity, or you've witnessed ICE or had any personal contact with them, call the Luce hotline. That's the number there. Have it saved in your phone, saved in my phone. Never know when, unfortunately, you may need it. And that just turned on my camera, didn't it? Because I took it when I picked it up. 617-370-5023. Save that number in your phone. The hotline operates 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day. And to volunteer with hotline, go to lucemass.org. Okay. All right. Now, allied group updates and announcements. So people that are here that want to talk about their relevant allied group updates and announcements.
Anyone?
All usually good for an
I
announcement.
don't know if this is news or I've already shared it, but Merrimack Valley Project has been campaigning and finding new organizations for a Seacoast chapter. That's Newburyport and Amesbury.
Mm.
So that would make a fourth chapter in Merrimack Valley Project.
Mm.
And they've already tackled the immigration question, set up a meeting with Bruce Tarr, who's their state senator, who's the head of the Republican Party. So,
Oh, wow.
but they are not afraid.
Wow.
They've got their ducks in a row. And they're
Wow.
white suburbanites. They're going after them.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody online, Marissa?
I am not seeing anyone online having any announcements.
Okay. Well, we are running late, so I will skip ahead. All right. Now, getting to our featured speaker, Jessica Wisocky from Pathway to Better Health. Jessica has been caring for LGBTQIA+ community for more than a decade. With expertise in sexual health and HIV treatment, Jessica has been on the cutting edge of advances in caring for the community throughout her career. The mission of Pathway to Better Health is to provide compassionate, stigma-free, sex-positive, and gender-affirming care to members of the community with a focus on those who have been traditionally stigmatized and marginalized by the healthcare system. They believe everyone deserves access to high-quality healthcare and support regardless of their HIV status, gender identity, or substance use history. So please hold your questions until after Jessica's done, and type your questions in the chat or use the raise hand function, and we'll get to them after the presentation is done. And so thank you and welcome, Jessica. I will stop sharing and allow you to share.
All right, thank you. Let me just get this set up so you can see my screen. Can you guys see my presentation now?
We can see you, but you're on top of it.
It's fascinating. How did I do that? Let me see here. One sec.
You want to get out of gallery view, right?
Yeah, I think I just have to move it to my other
Oh.
monitor.
No, because she's
Like
gonna.
speaker only, and then
gonna
do a share.
She's. Yeah.
But you have to do both things.
Okay. Can you guys see it now?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's better.
Interesting. Where are my
We have a
slides?
thumbnail of you up in the corner.
Yeah, this is different than what I was expecting. Let's see here. It worked earlier when we were trialing, but I can't quite get my slides on there with my notes. Sorry, guys. I know you're behind.
No worries.
Okay, let me just try this. Share. Present.
Yeah, that looks good. That looks good here.
Huh. Okay, I don't know. Well, I'll just use my other screen because I can't see presenter notes for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh.
All right. Oh, I know why. Got it. There we are. Okay. I think I'm in business now. You guys can still see my presentation?
Yes.
Awesome sauce. Okay, so I am Jess Wisocky. As mentioned, I'm the nurse practitioner and the founder of the clinic called Pathway to Better Health in downtown Lowell. And I specialize in caring for marginalized folks, including the queer community and people who are HIV positive. Tonight's topic will develop a deeper understanding of the physical and mental health challenges facing the queer community, identify what stigma-free healthcare is, and learn about the integrated care services being developed by Pathway to Better Health to support residents across Greater Lowell. So at present, 7.2% of Americans identify as queer, marking a twofold increase over the past 10 years. Gallup poll data on the right show the rate of self-identified queer folks has doubled with each passing generation. And perhaps the most striking detail about this data is that 20% of Gen Z actually identifies as queer. So just so we can all sort of speak the same language and get on the same page, the gender unicorn is always a good reference. Gender identity is a person's inner sense of being a man, woman, or a combination of the two, or having no gender identity at all. Gender expression is the outward expression of one's gender identity through their clothing, makeup, hairstyle, jewelry, etc. Sexual orientation refers to a person's physical, romantic, and emotional attachment in relation to gender. So, sexual orientation does not equal gender identity. There are two different concepts, and sexual and gender minority are not a monolith, and social, cultural, and gender norms are rapidly evolving, especially among the younger generation. This is like a very busy slide. I use it a lot when I'm presenting in academic medicine, but it's important, and it's kind of the crux of like why is Pathway to Better Health here, and what are we trying to do? So this is the minority stress model, and this model suggests that sexual and gender minorities experience distinct and adversarial stressors that lead to poorer health comes over time. This version in particular of the minority stress model was adapted by Newman and colleagues, and it provides a specific focus on how both proximal and distal stressors can impact GI and liver health, because I do a lot of presenting to hepatologists. So stressors include structural, interpersonal, and intrapersonal. They can be lack of legal protections, criminalization of healthcare, social stigmas, and discrimination, victimization, lack of affirmation, self stigma, identity concealment, expectations of rejection are also relevant. These stressors can lead to psychosocial and behavioral conditions such as depression, anxiety, substance use, survival sex, and a myriad of other long term health consequences, which I won't go into today. But what does that all kind of mean, right? At the end of the day. So the national state of affairs, as of May of 2026, so last month when I last checked, 27 US states have enacted laws or policies limiting access to gender affirming care. 23% of transgender adults reported avoiding or delaying healthcare in the past year. 56% of sexual minorities report experiencing discrimination from a healthcare provider. I also want to note that those data points were actually pulled from peer-reviewed journal articles that were published pre the current Trump administration. So this is how people's lives were prior to the current assault that they're facing from the federal government. All of these stressors can play a role in healthcare avoidance, delayed diagnosis, and poorer health outcomes for this demographic. On the right-hand side, you can see some statistics that I pulled from research studies for transgender and gender non-conforming folks. Just to highlight a few of these stats, 43% of trans folks have attempted suicide in their lifetime. 73% have been diagnosed with depression. 43% have engaged with substance use disorder. And these issues in particular are occurring at a much higher rate than their cisgendered peers. And so this is why these stressors in the minority stress model are so important. These are sort of the downward effects of structural, interpersonal, and intrapersonal stressors. So, current challenges, like what are we dealing with? Federal pressure to end gender affirming care. There's limits on youth queer services. There's loss of federal funding, and grants from private foundations are vanishing. Financial strain impacts ability to pay copays for patients and the other costs of care. So it feels a lot like a dumpster fire for the last couple years here. But I think, in the setting of all of this, there is still community and there's still progress being made locally, and that's something we should consider. So what can be done? Pathway to Better Health is focused on cultivating queer resilience in the greater Lowell community. We create a judgment-free, sex-positive, gender-positive role. We have service navigation supports. We've done a lot of community building in the last 3 years and resilient skill building. We developed Chroma sessions, which are once monthly workshops, really geared toward the queer and trans community. They're free. We have them catered to try and, help with some of the food insecurity that's in the community, but it allows community to break bread together, learn about things that interest them, and build more community outside of Chroma sessions. Also through listening to the patients and understanding, minority stress model and the fact that we have a great deal of food insecurity in the community, I wrote for and was granted a grant that allowed me to purchase farm shares for a number of folks within the Lowell community just this past spring. And then other things we have been working on is we just launched a mutual aid board, which is run through the website for Pathway to Better Health. And we did that in response to folks talking a lot about the Meta platforms and how they've kind of felt betrayed by them and not wanting to use them as much. So we created an alternative for this. And so, the fundamental of what Pathway to Better Health started out doing was we were providing queer focused services for substance use disorder, primary care, gender affirming hormones, HIV, and referrals for mental health services. So these things that we're building together, right, for the community are the potential moderators that can impact positively the way folks are going to live their lives and the health outcomes they're going to have when we look back at that minority stress model that we referenced earlier. So these are, just some of the services that the clinic offers. It's not your mama's clinic. Like literally there's, nothing that can be told to me in that exam room that isn't something I've probably heard before. And it's certainly not going to make me, clutch my pearls and scream. But is what this mentality does do is it allows us to reach some of the most vulnerable people in our community. So, I don't really advertise because I don't have a budget for that. So the majority of the clinic growth is through word of mouth and forming relationships with other orgs. But many of my patients come from other patients, guys that are, connecting with partners on Grinder or Sniffies, and they'll, learn that somebody's maybe HIV positive and not on HIV treatment and doesn't have health insurance right now. They will physically bring the patient into me because they know I'm a safe space for them, and I'm, there's no barrier. Even if they don't have insurance, that stops a lot of people from just getting through the front door of most medical practices. If they don't have insurance, they're still coming in, they're being welcomed, and I'm sitting down with them. And if it takes me an hour or if it takes me 3 or 4 days, we're filling out forms to get them access to either Mass Health, the HIV drug assistance program, or if none of that works, access to free drug for things like HIV prevention, PrEP, or antibiotics if they have sexually transmitted infections. So it's very ma and pa in that way. Community really brings community in there that are in need because they know it's a trusted place to be. So what does the future hold? So, the clinic's been open since July of 2023. I spoke at Solidarity Lowell right in the beginning when the clinic was first sort of opening its doors, and I told you all the story. It was like I was working at Mass Gen Brigham in infectious disease, and they were about ready to do some cuts to their programming, and my position was going to be cut. And it was through groups of the patients that didn't, they were going to lose me as a provider and they didn't want to seek care elsewhere. So they really pushed me to start the practice. And I'd never wanted to have a medical practice ever in my life. But I did it on a shoestring budget, and I really thought maybe 20 of the patients would follow me. And, within the first week of the clinic being open, 92 patients left Mass General Brigham to follow me to a tiny, 2-room humble clinic in downtown Lowell. And that has grown substantially in the last 3 years to caring for now more than like 600 patients, heavily, predominantly from the Merrimack Valley, but I do take care of patients as far away as like an hour north of Bangor, Maine, folks who drive down, and folks as far away as like Falmouth. So there's it's a small clinic, but it has a profound impact, and the ripple effect is almost immeasurable in my opinion, because I just see these like miraculous things happening all the time through the mutual aid work and through word of mouth. But the goal is that we'll continue to reduce isolation and build stronger community. And we, have been doing that with things like chroma sessions. And we started an LGBTQ intergenerational coffee hour to try and bridge gaps there. We're partnering with other local Lowell organizations like History Unerased to learn about, resistance in hard times historically, and the Greater Lowell Land Trust, so we can do some hikes and get some nature skills for the community. I'm also trying to expand access to care. I'm working trying to integrate many different services for queer facing, practitioners under one roof. So folks can walk in the door and there is no question that anybody who's there to serve them is there because they want to be there and they want to care for the community. They're not going to be tolerated in the space. Like, this is their space and they should be able to feel welcomed there. Um, Currently, I co-locate services with LGBTQ mental health provider who I let utilize my clinic space once a week in person to care for folks. And he has a similar mentality to me in that we will care for folks regardless of their ability to pay. And it's been incredibly wonderful to see folks have access to mental health care without weeks or months of a wait. Um, and then we need space. And so, like, the humble 2-room clinic I'm currently working out of, between the patient volume and now having a mental health provider in the space, we're just like tripping over each other. And so I've been hunting for about a year for a bigger space. My heart really wants to keep the clinic in Lowell because I want to take care of my neighbors. It's where I live. It's part of building better community. And it's been a challenge to find bigger space, to be honest, but I do think I am getting closer to a space on Merrimack Street. We've been raising funds to try and help offset the build out costs for that and the relocation costs for that. This bigger space would allow multiple practitioners to be in one roof, but it would also give us like really vital community space. We could bring the chroma sessions in-house. We wouldn't have to pay to have those done outside. And ideally, we would be expanding programming. And my hope would be that we could actually start allowing for programming for queer and trans youth and adolescents, because they are probably like the most under attack group right now within the community with the least amount of resources. And so even being able to expand art programming or community clubs for queer and trans kids would be a massive step toward bettering sort of the overall community health. And with space, we would be able to do that. And so, to be determined. I'm hopeful by the end of this year we'll be moved into a bigger space, but I'm still working through the details, so I don't want to overpromise it. It's been a long journey to get to that point. And that is it. I wanted to leave time to answer questions, and I'm happy to either take questions now, or even if folks have questions they don't want to ask in this setting, I can share my email with folks as well.
Okay. Well, so first of all, thank you for joining us once again. I will start with the big question of what can we do? How can we help you? What do you need?
I mean, the need, there's a lot of need, to be honest, and it's just, as a single person trying to coordinate all this, it's really hard. It's like there's folks who are showing up to support the work, but it's also almost like a part-time job in organizing those folks. So, it's like, if there's opportunities to sort of cross pollinate what you guys are doing with what we're doing. There's tons of folks in the community with housing insecurity. One of the things the mutual aid board is supposed to do is allow folks that can post if they have a room for rent, or if they want to go in on a roommate situation, so that they know this is a safe person. It's not like a Craigslist ad or a marketplace ad where you're not really sure what you're getting. So maybe there's opportunities for us to collaborate there. We're also trying to raise funds to offset the cost for the build out. It's going to be quite substantial, and currently I have written and received a couple smaller grants to offset that, but there's still a long way to go. Also, can you guys see me, or am I still sharing?
We can see
No,
you.
we can see you.
I can't see any of you.
Uh-oh.
We're all sitting in the dark here.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know where that screen went, but I'm here for it.
No, now we can see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you noticed any uptick in homelessness for queer and trans youth in the past few months? I know that the economy has become increasingly stable, and I have read many spaces that queer and trans youth are among the most vulnerable to homelessness.
Yeah, and so that has been unfortunately a situation that I have seen since I started the practice in 2023. I think a lot of that, from what I've seen, has to do with the younger generation is feeling more at home with expressing themselves in way prior generations haven't. And so the moment kids are turning 18, they're literally signing up to come into my clinic, and my clinic is informed consent model for hormones. I have had phone calls at like 10 o'clock at night when kids are calling me, and these are like 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds that have been displaced from their home when their parent found, the prescription of testosterone I wrote. It has been a struggle to find housing or even transitional space for those kids. There have been times where I have physically had to drive them to Pine Street Inn in Boston because I couldn't find any resources up here to house them. So it's a struggle, and because I think their housing is more dependent on a generation that is less accepting potentially of this. And it's difficult because housing is so hard right now for everybody in the state, but there's not a ton of resources, and the kids usually they don't have large social networks to kind of get out of the situation through friends or family. So a lot of the time I end up being like the main person trying to navigate all that stuff for them, and it's sad because we're displacing them out of our community. I mean, some of them are ending up in Brockton, Boston. They don't drive, and they haven't historically had to navigate public transit. So it's very isolating for them.
Yeah, Dan O'Connor.
Yeah. How do you manage a patient caseload of 600 while you're doing your organizing to, get a bigger clinic? Now, how's that even physically possible?
Through a lot of extremely long run-on days. Like, to be honest, it is getting to a point where it's it's becoming increasingly more difficult. I have to hire a medical assistant. I'm working on saving the funds to do that this year, and my hope is by, the fall, I'll be able to get additional support. I also started taking on medical assistant interns this year, which has been life changing because even though it's a short period of time, it frees up tons of time for me to focus back on clinical work and less on administrative burden and burnout in that regard. But the clinic is growing at a clip as other programs kind of close the doors for hormone access. It's growing at a pace that's faster potentially than I can keep up with, which is why I'm, trying to do the fundraising, and I'm reaching out to other groups and trying to train up volunteers. I don't physically have a lot of space to house volunteers right now. So this bigger space will allow the people who want to be coming in to support the clinic to have space while we're able to keep privacy and maintain dignity for the patients that are utilizing the services.
And when you talked about the situation with homeless youth and resources, and do you work with CTI's youth program?
I have tried many times. I have literally closed the door to my office and walked young adults over there.
Hmm.
And it's tricky because, you know, the ones that are like, in addition to the LGBTQ youth, there's a lot of youth that are just, you know, struggling with substance use that are on the streets. I end up taking care of a lot of them because of the connections I have with the outreach nurses and other orgs. It's really challenging when you like bring a vulnerable person who's ready to accept help into a program that then says, okay, there's nobody here to do your intake. We'll call you when, you know, in 2 days, or come back in 48 hours when there's somebody here to staff it. Like, that never happens. There's so many other competing interests that they don't have a phone. The phone they did have got stolen. Things are moving so quickly in the 48 hours in between that time that they have moved on to like a different city to stay with friends. Like, I have had one person successfully get housed through the CTI Youth Services program, and I don't think necessarily it's a reflection on that program. I think it's just a reflection of like where everything is. We're all, I think a lot of these organizations are probably very underfunded now, in the last 2 years, if they weren't before. And it's a very difficult job to have, like social services, especially right now. So, I mean, it is what it is. This is why I have tried to make inroads in non-traditional paths to get people what they need. This is why, like, when one of my patients is telling me they're looking for a place and they can't afford it, and I know two others that are doing the same, I'm getting their permission to connect themselves, to connect each other, so they can sort of go in on something together. And in some instances, I personally have funded the security deposit for them to be able to do it. Um, so I think we have to start thinking outside of the box to better serve the community, as some of these more established institutions are under greater stress, to be honest.
Well, just as a suggestion, you should probably call Nick and at CTI and maybe sit
Yeah.
down and come up with you know, a plan. You know, because a lot of agencies would have a hard time saying, okay, here's somebody right now. But if you had maybe a kind of a formal system in place to do it, and there should be
Yeah.
resources available through RAF and different programs to fund, you know, deposits and security deposits and whatnot. So a
Yep.
lot of that money hasn't been lost. A lot of the funding hasn't been lost. So there's resources and services out there. It's just a matter of connections.
Yeah.
A lot of times it comes down to personal connections.
Yeah, which, to your point earlier, like being one provider caring
Yeah.
for 600 people, many of which are so marginalized by, and the reality is, like, some of my patients were staying in the hotel program, and there's there's transphobia within our social services systems. Like, I don't know like how else to say it, right? But I mean, I'm hearing and I'm seeing things that I can't say is like all in somebody's head. And so when these systems aren't protecting the most vulnerable of our community, and these are the folks that are sitting in front of me every day in the office, like, I can't sleep at night knowing this, like that this injustice is here in such intimate ways that I see it play out. So I am here trying to, I guess, mitigate as best I can through minority stress model, um, and modifying the modifiables. And we've had some successes. I'm reaching out to Safe at Home, like groups in Worcester that are doing things on a larger scale, similar to what I'm doing with the housing stuff. But I think it's not always easy to be the only person facilitating so many networks for different groups in the community. It's there's only like so many hours in the day, and I have to go sometimes to the path of least resistance. And the community has been taking care of community for generations. So they're not like new to this idea that like ain't nobody gonna save us but ourselves. Um, And so that's kind of what we've been carving out here in Lowell.
Just one last question. Are you noticing any of your patients losing their SNAP benefits? Are they
Not,
regaining it?
I mean, not yet, other than the ones that, not necessarily because of, I think, there's been a handful, but I think it was because they missed some kind of paperwork filing or something.
Because I think, well, just with from August 24 to April 26, just in the city of Lowell, almost 7,000 less individuals are receiving benefits. And most of it isn't due to new federal regulations. It's just that the Department of Transitional Assistance just can't process the cases that they need to process. So, that's a big food resource that could really impact your clients.
Yeah, I think a lot of my patients have they have SNAP benefits, but I think the issue is also it's just like it's not enough to get them through the month, which is a lot of the people who signed up for the farm share through the grant I got,
Hmm.
they have benefits. It's just not enough. Um and community helping community, like there are guys that have the HIV housing voucher, and they're not supposed to, but because there's so many people unhoused in the community, they're letting other community members stay in their space. And so that's also taxing them in their food stores and on their utilities, the portion that they have to pay. So it's all this other social cost and currency that's sort of just under the surface, that I think is adding additional stressors even for the folks that are getting those benefits, because they're certainly not getting them for a household of 3, but that may be how many people they're actually trying to feed off that.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thank you, Dan. Ozo?
All right. Thank you, Amy, and thank you, Jess. So I don't know. Do you face situations like this a lot? I consider myself gender nonconforming. I was sent to male jail. I told them explicitly, I'm gender nonconforming. I don't feel comfortable here. I do not want to be in this environment. To be honest, I was sort of playing with the situation and my status. It's on my license and everything, but I just wanted to see what they would do. They just locked me right up and didn't even acknowledge it. So how do you even begin to, I guess, get gender affirming care, or just how do you get the proper health care if they won't even acknowledge your status or how you identify? Like, do you run into this problem a lot in these institutions?
In like the housing or in the DOC institution?
I mean, just in general, like in society, like this
Yeah.
seems to be a thing. Like, and again, I'll freely admit, I was just sort of seeing like kind of how they would react to that, and I guess I feel as comfortable as anybody else would in that setting. Not very, but I'm just saying, like, I did
Right.
feel like, and I was sort of new, and I'm still sort of exploring, these ideas and getting to know myself better, to be honest with you. But I felt completely violated, and it was like, okay, so if I was in transition or something, would you just send me right in with the boys? Like, I don't understand how that whole thing goes.
Yeah. So I can definitely say, I mean, like I have made, connections with other organizations. And so one example historically had been Joe from the co-op, who probably a lot of you may know, but I used to be able to just like hit him up on his personal cell phone and be like, Joe, I have a trans individual here who needs housing, or can we get them into the hotel program? And if there was a bed available, he would sort of like help me facilitate that. And I would have the assurance, usually from Joe, who did like phone, it's like the telephone relay to the other folks, that at least they would be roomed with the gender that they were identifying. So there were some things like that. I think this is tricky because like all of that hinges on my relationship with one other person, which is Joe. and Joe's not always there, to be honest. Like, he goes on vacation or he has like a health issue, and then I'm stuck when I have somebody who's unhoused. I also can say I have trans folks that want to be in sober housing. They want to go into programs for their addiction. And I had one person in particular who comes to mind that we waited almost a whole year. They kept getting games played around. We don't have a bed. We're not sure who to room you with. So, we're going to just have to room you by yourself. And it ended up being like the person relapsed and got sent to prison before they ever got a bed, through the supports and the institutions they were utilizing to try and get that bed in Lowell. They're out now. So they actually like served whatever their sentence was, and they came back and found me, and they're like, I can't believe you're still here. Can you take me back as a patient? And they're doing better, and they have housing now, but that's kind of what it took. Like, they were homeless and they were struggling with substance use, actively trying to maintain some level of sobriety, and things just kind of got in the way, and they ended up back in prison before we in the organizations they were connected to could get them into some kind of sober housing. It's like epic fail. But yeah, these things happen, and healthcare discrimination is a real thing too. I've had patients discriminated against because of their HIV status in today's day and age, which seems unbelievable that it's still happening, and by people who are supposed to be incredibly intelligent around disease transmission. But yeah, I mean, I often tell my patients, when you go out into the rest of the world or into the greater medical community, like, not everybody is as down for the cause as I am. And so you have to kind of protect yourself on what you're willing to disclose, which is unfortunate that in this day and age, like, I have to preference that. But I can tell you, from my work when I was in hepatology, in liver disease, arguing for people or advocating for people to get liver transplants, we absolutely hold certain values more sacred than others as a medical community. And when you're showing up and it doesn't look like you got big family supports, and it looks like you may be marginally housed, like, you're not going to get all the votes to get that liver. And this is something that happens in something as basic as liver disease and social determinants of health, regardless of HIV status or gender and sexual minority status. So these things are ingrained in our institutions, and it is like a constant battle to try and offset that for the community.
Oh, yeah, what do they call it?
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Well, yeah, so Paul? has the hand up.
Jess, excuse me, do you mind sharing a little bit of your story, as much as you would want to, about how you ended up in this work?
In this work? Yeah, I think I had
I don't
probably
want to
shared.
pry just as much as you want,
Are you referring to the story I told you guys the first time I spoke? Were you there for that?
Try
I
it
think
again.
it was I mean, like, I grew up in a relatively, like, I grew up with a lot of social determinants of health, I think, is what ends up sort of being the underpinning to the crux of it all for me. Is like, I grew up in Revere, and I came up as a ward of the court, and I, probably on paper look like a huge statistic just waiting to happen. And I think, through a lot of sort of envisioning a different life for myself and a lot of support from people, I ended up very fortunate and in a position where I could go to college, and I ultimately went on to get a master's degree and became a nurse practitioner. But I was drawn back to caring for the people that were the most marginalized, because I could see myself and my own family in them. And I had seen the way social determinants of health played out, you know, in my own family. And so, like, my mom, um, she had some struggles. She had some mental health struggles toward the end of her life. And she unfortunately ended up developing lung cancer. And I was living in Seattle at the time, and she had told me about this. And I ended up coming home and going to some of the consultations. And I just remembered, and this was before I became an NP, sitting there listening to the physician. And my mom said, because she was in such disbelief, like, how did this happen? You know, like, how did I get this cancer? And she probably had a million things in her head at that moment. And the doctor, without even looking up, he said to her, "What do you mean? We know how this happened. You know how this happened. You did it to yourself. You've been a smoker for like 30
Oh,
years." And in those moments, like, I watched my mom, she turned red. Like, I watched it from the chest all the way up. And then I watched, like, her big blue eyes just well up with these tears. And she got up and ran out of the room. And I think, like, I sat there and I didn't say anything. And it was such a moment of disempowerment and feeling helpless, and also feeling kind of like I betrayed my mom because I didn't fight for her in those moments. And that is something that I had to live with, and I continue to live with every day. And I carry that with me into the exam room when I'm taking care of my patients. I couldn't say anything at that time. I don't know why I didn't, but I will never be in a position where I'm not going to defend or advocate for one of my patients again. I won't do it. I can't.
thank you.
Wow.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, we are pretty much at time unless we have one really quick last question. I think we'll say thank you and wrap it up.
Does Jessica have any flyers that we can post around so people will know about?
Could you hear that?
Flyers to pass around, like, for the clinic, you mean, like informational brochures?
Yes.
Yeah, I have trifolds and some postcards that have a QR code that folks can scan. So I can maybe connect with somebody and give a stack for those.
That would be great.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Marissa,
Okay. Oh,
No, I'm just scratching my head.
do you know if Julio would be able to get Jess in touch with any people or information that could help her get grants or funding?
I mean, so I don't know if you're familiar with Merrimack Valley Project and Julio Mejia, but he is a absolute whiz when it comes to getting grants. So if you wanted to talk to him, I'd be happy to put you in touch.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome. And I'm fiscally sponsored by the Greater Lowell Community Foundation now. I think the first time I spoke, I wasn't. And I quickly realized, you know, living off mass health reimbursements is never going to get me to a point where the clinic is going to be sustainable or that I can pay myself. And so I had to become a fiscally sponsored organization to be able to get grants to try to make this sustainable. So, you know, I'm new at writing them. Like, it's nothing I ever did prior to having this business. And so, you know, it's a lot of work, and it's sometimes a lot of rejection. So any points or tips I can get from folks who are more experienced, I'm happy for it.
Yeah, I'll put you guys in touch.
yeah, he's a grant machine.
Yes.
So hopefully he could share a few tips.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, let's all give a big thank you. I'm a bit overwhelmed, and I don't quite know what to say, but yeah, wow, thank you, and yeah, let's keep in touch. We'll get those flyers from you. If we could also get your presentation we could include it in our notes and in our newsletter, and please also be in contact if there's ever any events or fundraisers or anything. We have a weekly newsletter. Yeah, and just thank you.
Do you have a name for the facility, and do you want it revealed where the address is, or do you prefer to keep that?
Oh, for the space we're looking at? So I'm looking at oh, right now, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, right now we're at 97 Central Street, above
Okay.
the post office.
Yep.
And the hope is that we're going to be able to move into where George's Textiles used to be, across from City Hall.
Right from the City Hall.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you guys know Brad from Litter Crew.
Oh, we do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Brad.
He's trying to he's working on like getting the quotes and stuff from different contractors to build it out. Yeah. So
awesome.
close. Yeah. And I feel like I'm in pretty good hands with him, and hopefully the owners of the building can agree to the terms of their portion of it, and we'll be there by the fall.
Wow.
Keep our fingers crossed.
That'd
for
be
you.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. When you cut the ribbon.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'll send out an invite. We're for sure going to do a grand opening for it.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Hero time starts with you.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, so finishing up quickly as soon as the slide advances. There you go. So this is normally where we would tell you about our next meeting, but there is no meeting in July because instead we have our annual potluck barbecue, like I mentioned earlier. This year it will be Saturday, July 11th from 3 to 8 p.m. Obviously it's open house style, drop in as you can, not expect to stay the whole 5 hours if you can't. It's at Marissa's house, which if you RSVP at that link that's right there, you could find out the directions there. The coordinating committee, as always, will provide the burgers and dogs and some veggie burgers and dogs. But if you are able to, if you could please bring a side, a dessert, or a drink. Yes, John, please, if you are able to do so, bring a side or a dessert or a drink of some such. That would be wonderful, but you're under no obligation to do so. It's always a lot of fun, and we hope to see you all there. So please RSVP so we know who's bringing what and how many people to expect.
You ready for the group picture?
Yes. Yes.
My husband is a photographer, so he always goes a little extra with our group photo. Just be aware.
There's levels and staging, and
little steps to
stand up.
Everybody's seen.
It's very professional and well done. It's a great photo. You can see it on our Facebook, our header image every year.
Our brochure too.
Oh yeah. Okay, and so where you can find us, really quick, wrap this up here, join us online. We have a Facebook page, which is just public facing. It's public events, photos, but there's no discussion there. There's no members only events. We have a Facebook group, which is everything, the same events and things as above, but also access to all of the other events and members only events as well, discussions and things. We have a website, solidaritylowell.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, and Threads at Solidarity Lowell. And again, as I said, we do have a YouTube channel at Solidarity Lowell where you can watch this meeting in a couple of days. It should be up, and all of our previous meetings are there. And that is everything. So thank you for attending, and we hope to see you next time.
Yes, I got it.
Oh,
just tell me.
Thank you.